Okay, here we are with the aquaponics system, just up and running, so there's plenty of stuff left to do, but figured we'd walk you through the system. The heart is a single pump, and it's that guy right there. It stays underwater and it pumps uphill. This one goes over to the film system. This one is a Venturi. It gathers air and pushes bubbles down in. This is for balancing the flow between the two things where we push the water and down into the fish tank. And then we've got right now a fish tank with 80 goldfish in it, and they're all doing pretty good. But they're kind of a placeholder until we get the catfish next week. We got them coming out of between Portland and Salem, Oregon. And down there in Oregon, you've got to have a permit from the state to receive these fish and to transport them. So anyway, the vendor took care of that for us. Anyway, then there's an outtake that goes out to the grow beds. So at the bottom of this is a little filter piece that we had to add on there, because we're doing some debugging of why water wasn't getting out to the grow bed, and that's this guy over here. I figured that right here the water was stopping, and I pulled this apart and I looked in there and I saw a fishtail, and I opened up this valve and a fish just plopped right into my hand, and he was still alive, so we stuck him back in the system. But anyway, I guess the outflow from the fish tank with all the fertilized water comes out the back here and splits. And goes between the two grow beds. So this one goes across, like I said, here to the end, and this is where the water comes in, and this is some kind of netting for filters. And you can see kind of the brown stuff on there. We're still filtering out the clay dust from the clay balls. Then we've got a bunch of plants and stuff all over the place, and a little water tester for nitrates, ammonia, and pH. And then part of the water continues on over here to a drip line that goes into Dutch buckets. So let me get on the outside of the fence. These are 4 Dutch buckets. So we've got, let's see, these are like grape tomatoes, sun gold tomatoes, early girl, golden bell pepper, and cayenne. And how these things work is you've got a drip line here, and the little pipe keeps it going in the right spot. But yeah, you can see that. There we go. A certain amount of water is coming out of these guys, and the end of this pipe takes it down right at the roots. So the roots are getting fed. And then on the bottom of the buckets, the water gets up to about 2-3 inches, flows out and down, and then this I guess return manifold comes across and back into the sump, and I'll show you that in a sec. This is a temporarily, I guess this is not special. It should be like this. I just ran out of connectors, so I'll replace this with a simple elbow later on. But comes across, it's the outside one from the Dutch buckets, and ends up here. So this one that's drooling slowly, the one I'm holding there, that's the output from the Dutch buckets. The one that has a lot of water coming out of it, that's the tail end of a chop system. So that's this guy here, and what happens is this thing is got about 7-8 inches of clay balls in it. And we just constantly are filling it, and this is the rate here of water going in. And you've got to have a valve over there to set it, because what you do is use a bell siphon. And there's lots of people that explain these things, so I'm not going to dig ours apart to show it, because it took a lot of finagling to get the thing to work. But anyway, the water fills up to the level that the bell siphon is set for, and then it suddenly dumps all the water out the bottom. So here's the bottom of the bell siphon coming out to 290s, and what we found is most people have their sumps right below the grow beds. But we've got multiple grow beds, and we had some other things we wanted to do. So we've got a longer return line, such that it had so much siphon that it would just keep on siphoning no matter what. So we had to add a little, there we go. Just a little pipe here that's open, so it can kind of gurgle some air back up there and break the siphon. You want it to basically be able to slowly fill it up and then dump it, and then slowly fill again. So the same bed, this other bed does the same thing. We've got here lettuces and cabbages and such. And it's exactly the same system. And then, so in the return, let's look down in here. Not a lot of water in here. This is our kind of our inspection port to see how much water. So basically this will fill up to a certain point, and then we'll see out of this bed, it comes out of here and you'll see just a big flow of water when it's emptying. So this is the main sump, but we've got little U siphons between the three, so we kind of have a distributed sump. We've got goldfish in the bottoms of these as well, and then we've got some just basically some floating beds sitting on there until we come up with a better place to put them. We can't keep them in there long term because we figure the fish will chew on all the roots, and that doesn't help them grow. Let's see. Okay, so now let's go to the film system. So coming up from the pump over and up, and this is just for convenience setting it off, up to the top of the fence, and then we go across behind the second electrical box, and let me take it around outside. So this zigzag thing is our vertical film system. So if you look in each one of these holes, you see running water going across the bottom, and each of these plants has roots hanging out in that film, picking up nutrients as they go by. So this is a way, just taking advantage of the side of the fence of the old dog kennel here, of getting a lot of plants vertically set up. We had a surprise in the morning. Basically, I didn't have all the heavy zip ties on these things. I had some lighter string that was holding it in place, and it kind of had dropped. It stretched to the point this thing fell out, and water was just dumping on the ground. So our lettuce over here doesn't look as good, but the strawberries are starting to grow, so pretty happy about that. We'll see how those things go. And then the return from that comes all the way down to the bottom and into that the first sump, the sump that's farthest away. So anyway, that's the system.